Welcome to the final edition of Thunder Insider. As you heard, we will be breaking down another very successful season here in Oklahoma City. We'll also hear from Brian Davis and Grant Long coming up on the show. But first, a horrible tragedy struck Moore this week as a tornado devastated this suburb of Oklahoma City. Not only is the Thunder a family, so is the entire state of Oklahoma. And we saw this week how everyone came together to support those affected by this storm. Here's how the Thunder helped lend a hand to those in need.
It's overwhelming. All the people are out there supporting one another. It just makes you so proud to be a part of the community.
We're just moving debris, going through it. We're making a trash pile and keeping what we can. This is my house right here. It was at 208 Southwest 146th Street.
We put this in a month ago.
That's our storm shelter.
Yeah.
That's our storm shelter. We didn't use it, but I mean,
It's a big bathtub now, right?
yeah, it's a big bathtub. It's full of water now.
How you guys doing?
It's just really powerful to be here in the middle of all this, just a few days after it happened, and being able to see all this.
Obviously, all the homes are gone, and a lot of families and stuff lost all their things.
For this to hit so close to home, just do all I can to help, man. Even if it's just showing up and taking pictures or saying hi to people, if that helps, that's what I'm willing to do.
Luckily, I found all my photos. I couldn't believe that.
We just live right down that way. It's total devastation. I've lived in Moore all my life, been through a lot of tornadoes, and just the kids. I feel so sorry for them.
Yes, man.
Just want to say thank you to the
No problem.
foundation and everybody's support, and it's going to take a lot to rebuild, but I think we can do it.
We can, no doubt.
Definitely different seeing it on TV. You get the real effect.
Our heart goes out to those people, but we're also humbled to be in their presence because the first thing they're thinking about is the people that weren't as fortunate as them.
I've had so many of my friends and people that are friends of friends that are just offering to help.
We have support, my family, the friends. There's just amazing amount of people, man.
We were able to put some smiles on people's faces, and I think that's a big thing.
We made it.
Good job.
We're all okay. All right.
I'm so glad you're all right.
I mean, I pulled into this neighborhood and there's no landmarks, no bearings. I didn't know where. I parked over there at the corner and I couldn't find my house for 5 minutes. We are blessed and we have all our family intact.
They all have such a right perspective. They are thankful that they are alive, and all the other stuff is just stuff.
It's part of the responsibility of being an Oklahoman, and we're here to do our part. As small as it is or whatever is needed, we'll stand ready to deliver for the people that live in this state. We're humbled to wear Oklahoma City across our chest, and that represents every single person in Oklahoma, and if they're in need, as I said before, we stand ready to help support them.
It's nice of you all to take the time to come down here and doing what we're doing, just trying to help everybody.
Yes, sir.
Basketball is a great game, and it's a great sport, but it's just a game. It's about the people. It's about the people in your community. It's about the family and friends that you have.
Oklahoma, we're all together, regardless if it's for the Thunder or if it's for the city, the community. I think, this is a great time for us to come close and come together.
There's something that you have to grab that I realized that there's only up to go. I mean, you can get mad or you can deal with it and move on. Deal with it and move on.
Let's see you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
In times of hardship, it's always nice just to get some encouragement from a smiling face or a local hero. It's going to be a long rebuilding process, and all of this, every little bit counts. Well, several Thunder players made a special trip also to the Children's Hospital this week, not only to visit some young survivors, but to pay tribute to those who are working so hard to help their fellow Oklahomans.
Nathan, how you doing, buddy?
This is great. Give him five. Give him
One
five.
time.
Or knuckles.
One time. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see that, he's a professional basketball player who we know from nobody, and he's blowing bubbles with my son to make my son feel better.
Here we go. Try it again. Come on. There you go. There you go. Good job.
It's amazing. It's very grateful. I'm very grateful for it.
Such a just sad, weekend. I was just home and didn't realize it was that bad on the other side of the area.
We were headed to the daycare, and then they told us, well, no one's there, it's not there anymore. And then you go through, okay, where are they at? And then you go through all those emotions again as you don't know where they're at. They're hurt, are they even living anymore? I got a phone call from my dad and said they're not there, they're at this hospital. Or as soon as I got here, thankfully, all these workers, they were standing right outside the ER and just, what's the child's name? And Grayson, oh, he's okay, he's in the ER, but he's going to be fine. Obviously, as you can see, he's just running around like a 3-year-old who's not just been through one of the worst days of his life and probably the worst day of his life that he's going to go through. So it's amazing.
Hey, give me 5 now. High one. Let me jump. You got to give me a little jump. Come on.
Of course, our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to those affected by this horrible storm. The biggest question during times like these always seems to be, how can I help? Well, here are some ways you can reach out to help those in Moore, Oklahoma. Anyone wishing to assist with relief efforts is encouraged to call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcross.org to donate to the Red Cross, or you can also donate to the Salvation Army at the website listed there. But make sure your donations are specific to the Oklahoma tornado relief. And of course, for continuing coverage on this tragedy and relief efforts, keep checking back to thunder.nba.com.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
I got to stay aggressive, whether it be for myself or to make plays, but just play basketball aggressively. Good things tend to happen. Hi, I'm Russell Westbrook. You're watching Thunder Insider.
Welcome back to Thunder Insiders. I'm now joined by Brian Davis and Grant Long. And guys, as we start to look back at this season, 60 wins, the #1 seed in the Western Conference, their 4th straight playoff appearance. It wasn't the ending they wanted, but Brian, they accomplished a lot this year.
Well, that's exactly what Sam Presti said. It was a disappointing end to a really fine season for all the reasons that you mentioned, Leslie. And guys, the growth that these teams showed collectively and individually, and we're only still a little ways into that process, so the better, I think, is yet to come.
Well, and as we look back at all the things that they accomplished, one of the things that really sticks out to me is that stretch where they beat San Antonio at home, they go on the road and beat a very strong Indiana team. They played 6 playoff contenders in a row, Grant, and beat 5 of them. I mean, they really finished the regular season on a high note.
Yeah, when you look at that stretch of games, it was a clear indication that this team had really come together down the stretch of the season and was ready for the postseason. When you think of back in October when this team was put together and all of the goals that were set for this ball club to now get to those final games and to have the success that they had during that stretch, again, it tells us that they were really ready to go into the postseason. They were clicking on all cylinders, and that's the perfect time to go and play postseason basketball.
Remember, that was in a stretch also with some very difficult travel. There were some weather issues. The Thunder played consecutive games in 4 different time zones. I mean, geez, guys, we were tired and we don't play or coach, but I think that was a magnificent measure of what this team is all about. The resilience, the durability, and to be able to go in tough houses like in Indianapolis and play the Pacers, who are Eastern Conference finalists. I mean, not for nothing. That was quite a stretch, and I think that was probably a stamp for this ball club.
And I think that's something that eventually when the team kind of gets away from the end of the playoffs, they'll look back and be very happy with the way they finished the regular season. But they're already talking about what they want to improve on. That's exactly how this team works. A couple of things that they brought up at the end of the year was continuing to work on turnovers and having more consistency from three-point range. What do you think they need to improve on, Grant?
Well, I think, as I've always said throughout the regular season, rebounding is an issue I think that every club in the NBA has to go through, and I think this team understands when they rebound the basketball, when they out-rebound their opponent, they have a high level of success. They have to do that more consistently, and Scott Brooks is going to, again, like he did during the regular season, get back to the fundamental disciplines of boxing out when the shot goes up, but also when you talk about rebounding, you also have to make sure that you're executing your defense to a point that you're keeping your rebounders close to the basket so they have those opportunities to rebound.
You get those great three-point looks not only by minimizing your turnovers, but I'm going to pull one out of the Wayback Machine. The legendary coach Phog Allen said that if you dribble, you move 1 guy. If you pass, you move 5 guys. And the Thunder, down the stretch in the regular season, averaged 21 assists and 12 turnovers. That's a great ending for this ball club at a starting point for 2013-14.
Already talking about what they want to improve on, but there are so many things that they did improve on this year. We'll talk about that next on Thunder Insider. Well, it may be the off season, but the Thunder is going to be extremely busy with several things this summer. In fact, it starts with the NBA draft on June 27th. They have the number 12 overall pick as well as others. They'll also have Summer League, which is in Orlando. That's July 7th through the 12th. A lot of those games will be on NBA TV. And remember, our preseason schedule starts with some games overseas, so be sure to continue checking on our website, thunder.nba.com.